Well, similarly to last year, it's been a very good start to the Serie A season. Couple of issues though. Issue number one, bit of an injury issue in the centre of the midfield, which has caused a bit of a tactical change. Issue number two, we haven't really played any big teams yet, and today we've got both Inter Milan and Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League group stage. Hello there and welcome to Stubo FM and welcome to Season 3, Episode 3 of Let's Go Parma. I'm Stu, thank you so much for joining me in today's episode where, as I mentioned before, we're going to be playing some of the big boys, those big boys being Paris Saint-Germain and Inter Milan. If that sounds like a good plan to you, and if it does, you're a monster, but please do leave a like on the video and consider subscribing to the channel as well for more future lovely FM content. Since you were last with me, like I said, we have been doing very well indeed. If you have look at that table. Look at it. We're first in the league. I mean, it's inconceivable, surely, the idea that will stay the same for the rest of the season. I can't imagine it will. I imagine after today's episode with Inter Milan being our next league game, it will very much not be the same. But we have been doing very, very well indeed, as you can see from the player stats here. Lorenzo Lucca has hit the ground running. He's not been great in every game so far, but he has been very, very good indeed. But it's not just him. If I show you the schedule, you can see... Right. By the way, I know I hit my mouse very hard. I do need to adjust audio settings because when I'm editing, I do notice that sometimes you'll hear me just go something like that. I don't know. You probably won't have heard that now. I'm aware of it. I'm also aware there's lighting issues. I'm running on a budget. So my microphone and my camera and all that kind of stuff, my lighting setup, they're not the best. Thank you for bearing with it. But yeah, looking at the start of the season, you guys saw the first two games, Sassuolo and Brescia. Since then, haven't dropped any points. It's been fantastic. As you can see as well, in the last three games, we have had a tactical tweak. I'll get onto that in a moment. But as you can see, these two games here, Sebastiano Esposito came in. I think he came off the bench. I think he did. Yeah, Luca didn't play great. We brought Esposito off the bench. He bailed us out in this game. And then we went to... we welcomed Dinamo Kiev to the Ennio Tardini Stadium, and as you can see, we utterly battered them. Lorenzo Lucca with a hat-trick, Sebastiano Esposito coming off the bench to grab a goal as well. To be fair, around the Verona game, I was toying with the idea of changing to a 4-2-4. Now, the one problem with that is our recruitment in the summer was completely based around the idea of having the 4-3-3, and we completely brought in central midfielders based on that, and we only went with the two first-team strikers. Add Tino, in theory, as a backup striker. So that was the only issue with changing that. Then injuries happens. If the game can load, thank you. As you can see, got a few of them. Three of them to central midfielders. Roman Enriquez, Sciattarella and Cataldi. Cataldi is out for up to 2 weeks. Sciattarella's up to 3 weeks. And Enriquez is, to be fair, he's coming up to fit again. But obviously, they've all been injured for the same period of time. We do also have knocks to Lucca and Saliba. Get to that in a minute. So we changed to the 4-2-4. I've never used a 4-2-4 as a regular formation. It's always been my we're in trouble, we need some goals formation. And as you can see, it has worked for us. We went to Venezia. Well, we went to Venezia and we beat them 2-0. Valenti in the 50th minute and Lucca getting a 64th minute goal as well. Lorenzo Lucca then got us a goal against Lazio. I said we didn't play any of the big boys. Apologies, we did play Lazio. But we got a 1-0 win against them just there. Again, that was at home. I was going to say it's away from home. That would have been a lie. But then we used that formation to utterly destroy Sampdoria, which was glorious. Sebastiano Esposito getting a hat-trick. So Lucca, not the only one getting a hat-trick so far this season. I mean, I love how they are. It's almost like they're competing. Well, they are competing effectively, but getting a hat-trick for Sebastiano Esposito. Below got a goal as well. And Mihaila in the 86th minute. Good to see him get on the score sheet as well. That was where Enriquez got injured. Lucca and Saliba both got injured the game before. No injuries the game before that. I think the other ones were in training, I think. But yeah, injuries have not been an ideal thing, but it is what it is. So this is the formation we're currently rocking at the moment, and because of the injuries, it's the formation we're going to be using to go against Paris Saint-Germain and probably Inter Milan as well. I'm nothing if not ambitious, but we're going to go with it and see what happens. But again, we are doing very well in the league. I'm very happy with how things are going so far, and we're hopefully going to be not embarrassing ourselves in this game. What is worth noting in the Champions League is that I say his name wrong every time. Youssef Ait Benassa. I'm going to go with that. Ait Benassa. Benassa is not in our Champions League squad. All of that to say, we're not going to be using him. Purely because the way that our squad is, we've got one homegrown at club player and it's below. At the moment, anyway. Because of that, we had to limit ourselves, I think, to 22 registered players. Because we couldn't use the other 3 spots, because the other 3 spots had to be homegrown at club. The annoying thing is, bottom below is the one player in this 11 as well, who counts as an under 21 player for us because of how long he's been here. If he wasn't the homegrown at club player, we could have not registered him and registered Benassa. Haven't been able to do that. So Benassa's not in the Champions League squad. So that makes the central midfield position even worse because we can't use him. So for lack of a better option, we're going with the 4-2-4. I have turned the intensity of training down a little bit just in case my training is what's caused us to have the injuries. We did have quite a heavy pre-season. There was quite a few heavy match loads. As you can see, we have got a few heavy match loads already. So we're going to have to do a bit of squad management. But we're going to have to do it after the injuries, which is going to be even more difficult. Anyway, this is the 11 that's going to be taking us, hopefully, to not get battered by Paris Saint-Germain. It's Dragowski in goal, Zambia, Grimal, below, Valeri in defence, Fagioli, Monchu in midfield, Man and Mihaila out wide, Esposito and Tino up front. Luca is not anywhere near fit enough to start. I mean, if we have to bring him off the bench, I'll be very annoyed. Same with Saliba as well. Both of them are both back in training tomorrow, so they should be available for the Inter Milan game. But it is what it is. I've just realised our fullbacks are on attack. We cannot, under any circumstances, have our fullbacks on attack for this game. How did I let that slip through? Anyway, enough of that nonsense. Let's go and probably get a battering. Let's go. By the way, can we just acknowledge this team? They've got Valverde, they've got João Felix, they've got Hernandez, they've got Hakimi. Paris Saint-Germain's team is bad enough as is. In the second season, they have made it into a super team. I don't know if anyone has watched my one and done save with Paris Saint-Germain. If you haven't, I'm going to put a link to it up in that corner, I think. It's probably that corner now, I've said that. Yeah. I'm going to put a link to it there. But we kind of created a bit of a super team in that one season save, and it was fantastic. And it kind of reminds me of that, only on a more extreme thing. Valverde just yeeting the ball out there to clear it. We are putting them under some early pressure with these set pieces, and it's great. Monchu now whips in, looking for Below. Below is there, and he heads it just over. What a great early chance that was. And again, we won our first game in this group. We beat Dynamo Kiev. We're hoping we can get a good result here as well. A good result would be not getting battered 7-0. A great result would be not getting beaten. A brilliant result would be sneaking a 1-0. The way that we've played this season, we look really good, but I'm not expecting that to last. I'm expecting us to have some games where we get utterly destroyed. This could be one of them. Dragowski seems to forget on a regular basis that he is not meant to be launching the ball forward like that. He's meant to be passing it short. One thing we did change in our tactics was that we changed it from distributing centre-backs to distributing to full-backs, purely because they're playing 2 strikers up front. It kind of felt like a bit of a silly thing to do, to try and get the ball to the centre-backs when the centre-backs are occupied by 2 forwards, when they're not playing wingers, they're playing a diamond. So it kind of made more sense to get it to those guys. But as you can see, Paris Saint-Germain are coming back into the game after our early little onslaught with the set pieces. Monchu's having a great game, by the way, at the moment. I say great game, he's on the 7.1. He's having a great game compared to the rest of our 11, which is nice to see. Monchu really, I think, has been one of the better signings, along with Grimal. Those two have been fantastic. It's early days to judge Luca, but he started off very, very well. Esposito, yes, he's a loan signing, so it's difficult to count him because obviously we've got him to the end of this season, and then unless we have a dramatic influx of money, I don't think we're going to be able to sign him. But that was part of the reason why we signed Lorenzo Luca. Part of the reason for what a last-minute tackle that was to stop Neymar there. That was wonderful. That was wonderful. I'm so impressed with that tackle. And in fact, it wasn't a foul as well. And I thought we were going to mess it up by conceding a corner then. It would have been my luck, wouldn't it? But yeah, we can't really count Esposito. But Monchu and Grimal was coveted over the summer until we got him to sign a new contract. And Monchu has already had a couple of mentions in press conferences about potentially other clubs coming in for him. I mean, if they want to come in for him, they will have to pay a large amount of money. I mean, he's doing really well. He's doing well in a ball-winning midfielder position, which is not his natural position. We always play him as a playmaker. but he's doing a good job there today. I mean, we're playing Fagioli purely out of necessity at the moment in that deep line playmaker role. And as you can see, he's not doing very well. What a ball out is from Dragowski. Forget everything I said about his distribution, but Donnarumma is equal to the shot, and we do have another corner, and we are going to be hoping to get this on the end of the head of one of our defenders. Monchi whips in, looking for Esposito. I mean, I said one of our defenders. It was our striker who got on the end of it. Of course, the set piece. Oh, Totino's just took his man out there. He's going to get a yellow card. I don't think he is, actually. Referees let him get away with that one. And I'm well willing to admit that he let him get away with that one. But yeah, I was saying something now. Oh yeah, Fagioli's there out of necessity. He's not necessarily meant to be a deep line playmaker. He can play there, but I don't necessarily think he's the right man for the job. And to be fair, Totino's having a poor game as well, but I don't really want to bring Lorenzo Luca on now. We have got Marsetic on the bench, but he is a 1.5-star player. I don't necessarily think he's the answer, but we might have to bring him on just out of the fact that we need another player on the pitch. Looking around the team, Fagioli is having the worst game. Do we dare bring Martin Raber on? Do we dare bring a 17-year-old Austrian onto the pitch? I mean, he can play as a playmaker, but I wouldn't necessarily say he's a deep lying playmaker. I think it would be a bit difficult to justify bringing him on, but then, I mean, we could bring Sarui on. Sarui could play there. But again, I mean, he could play there. I think we have to do something. Fagioli's definitely not having a good game. I mean, we could change into an advanced playmaker, perhaps. Could maybe do that. He can do that as well. Maybe we do that. But I feel like we're leaving ourselves very exposed in central midfield. The reason this formation, I think, has been working is because we've had those two in the midfield kind of lurking there, one a bit further forward than the other, and I feel like advanced playmaker on support is not going to help us defensively. We're going to leave it. We're going to leave it like that. I think we're going to change it back to being a supporting deep line playmaker. We're going to leave it as it is. We're going to leave it as it is after all that, but we might make some changes a little bit further into the game. We're just going to encourage the boys, because we had a great first half, and we just need to carry on. Totino's not having a good game as striker. I mean, to be fair, he isn't well, he can play as a striker, but he isn't a striker. Fagioli, by the way, has improved in this second half, and it's fantastic to see. Diogo Jota, who I've just realised I've got as well, is not having a lovely time out there, and I credit my boys for that. The defence is having a great game, except for Valeri, so we might need to look at Cambiasso coming on in the next few minutes. I think we will be looking at that. Dragowski, go out to the left. That's a great ball. Yeah, it gets Valeri. Do you know what? Valeri could actually save himself a bit of time here. Oh, it's a ball to Mihaila. Mihaila can't really do much with it. Just flicks it onto nowhere. Bit disappointing, really. But hey-ho, it is not the end of the world. And the ball comes out. Zambia beats Neymar in the air, as you'd probably expect. Marn now. Esposito. Fagioli. Looking for options. Gets to Zambia. Back to Dennis Marn. Marn now. Looking for options. Cuts inside on his favoured left foot. Looking to get the ball to someone. Gets it to Monchu. Esposito. Esposito into Mihaila. Mihaila sneaks it past Donnarumma. It's 1-0 to Parma in Paris. Wow. This is a good team. And I'm referring to us in that sentence. Paris Saint-Germain, we know, are an excellent team. This is a good team, this Parma team. And again, you look at that starting 11 at the bottom of the screen. I know you can't see all of it because I'm in the way, but, you know, yes, there's players we've added in, but Below was already here. He was in the youth team. Valeri was already here. Marn was already here. Mihaila was already here out on loan. Totino was already here. We've still got a core of the team that was in Serie B, or was at least associated with the team while we're in Serie B. And we are still, we haven't completely overhauled the team. We've made changes, sure. What team doesn't? But we haven't overhauled the team completely yet. We're in the process of doing it, but we haven't needed to. The team's been good enough. Say that to him, and then we'll just say that one and try and ease the pressure on him. It's not really worked. It's ridiculous bringing a youngster like him on in this game. I know that, especially when we've just gone 1-0 ahead. But Totino was having such a bad game as a striker. We need to do something. Right, ball's whipped in. Kimpembe's there. It's 1-1. Straight away. And it's from a set piece, which is a bit disappointing. We're going to encourage the boys, because you know what? There's no shame in that whatsoever. There's no shame at all in conceding a goal against a team like this. Messi's had a shocker today, an absolute shocking game. Have faith in the team, have faith in the system that's worked so far, because the system got us 1-0 ahead. It's got us playing good football. We're going to encourage the boys a little bit more for the last few minutes, and we've got a late free kick here. from our half. I'm going to hope to try and get it forward. Esposito now gets it out to Mihaila. Mihaila into Fagioli. That's Esposito. Esposito trying to hold the ball up here. He's kind of got it through. Mihaila's there. He's unmarked. And Mihaila's made it 2-1. Paris Saint-Germain do not deal with the situation, and all of a sudden we lead again. Esposito here gets himself into a bit of a muddle, passes the ball forward. No Paris Saint-Germain player reacts to it. Fagioli chases it, but Mihaila's the one who gets on the end of it. And it's a Valentin Mihaila. Is it a double from him? I think he scored the first, didn't he? He did. He did indeed. Well then. Well then. Wow. Wow. I did not expect to be in this position. Right, Mihaila, Esposito, back to Mihaila, out to Sambia. Could we get a third? Sarui's on the end of the ball here. He's going to try and get it into the box, into Esposito. And Esposito has deserved a goal. And he gets it. Well, we've just done one on Paris Saint-Germain. I say we've done one. We've been the better team. Sambia whips the ball in, gets it to Sarui. Sarui just chips it over to Esposito. The Paris Saint-Germain team is full of individual superstars who look an absolute mess. And in our second Champions League game, we're going to go top. We have gone top, and it is a glorious, glorious win in Paris, but not for the team that actually resides in Paris. I just want to look at their team for a second. Look at the players they've got. They've still got Idrissa Gueye in the midfield. Dominguez is there. Wijnaldum's still there. Neymar, Messi, Diego Jota was their finishing front three. Hakimi, Hernandez, Kimpembe. I mean, Messi had the worst game of his career there. Meanwhile, Sebastiano Esposito and Valentin Mihaila, who couldn't even get into the team towards the end of last season because he was playing so badly. My word, what a performance from the boys. What a performance. Now, let's just bear in mind, while that was an excellent performance, team's dead, mate. The team is absolutely dead. We do need to give Valeria a new contract. A fair point. I keep forgetting about that. But the team is absolutely shattered. Well, that was incredible. And again, that leaves us in our group, top of the group. Played 2, won 2, got 7 goals for, 2 goals against. Borussia Dortmund haven't played their second game yet. It will be against Dinamo Kiev. Paris Saint-Germain got battered by them. Giovanni Reina with 2 goals in the first game, actually. So Borussia Dortmund is the next game for us. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in that one. But we're going to skip forward now. We're going to go to the Inter Milan game, which is only a couple of days away. So I am a little bit concerned at the fitness of this squad. So I'm just going to give everyone a few days off and just see what happens. Actually, it's 5 days, so it's not too bad. But I want to give some of the players as much of a rest as possible. We are going to have Luka and Saliba back as well, which will be good. So give me a minute. I'll get us to that game. And hopefully we don't suffer because of that Champions League wonderfulness that we've just seen. So fingers crossed. Let's see how fit the players are when we get to that game. We are back for the game against Inter. And this is very much in the category of what will be, will be. But then we said that for the Paris Saint-Germain game. And look at that, how that turned out. That was ridiculous. Still haven't gone over it. It was only a couple of minutes ago that happened. Still haven't gone over it. But this is going to be the 11. We have made a couple of changes. Below us stayed in the midfield, in the defence, sorry, the midfield. Goodness me, Stu. Valenti has come in, however, instead of Greenwell. And this is all for the sake of trying to get a few players who are not on a heavy workload. We have still got a lot of them in there. But where we've got the ability to rotate them, we have done it where it's been sensible. So bringing Valenti in instead of Greenwell, I originally was going to rest below, but as a medium workload is what he currently has, it made more sense to rest Greenwell. But then Greenwell is one of our best defenders, so do we do that? You know what? I've got buyer's remorse. We're changing our backgrounds. So ignore that. Defence is not what I just said it was. We've also brought in Martin Rabo, and I know this is a bit of a ridiculous one. However, his development is kind of stagnating and we've not been playing him too much. So I know it's a bit of a gamble to play him as a deep line playmaker, especially when his tackling is that bad. But I kind of want to get him some first team football. So we're going to start him from this game. Also, it's not as if Fagioli had a great game last time out. So it's one of them. It's a bit of a gamble, but I kind of want to give the talent of Rabo a bit of a chance to shine. So he's going to be there alongside Monchu in the midfield. The front four is the same except for Lorenzo Luca coming back into the team. Tino has dropped to the bench after his woeful performance in the last game. Valeri was dropping out because of that as well. But Cambiasso somehow has got a heavy workload. I don't really understand how. But I'm kind of, do you know what? I'm kind of looking at that now and I'm thinking, do we put Cambiasso in just because he's not in as bad of... Yeah, no, we'll leave it. Leave it as it is. Leave it as it is. But that is the 11. The opponents are Inter Milan. We're away from home. It's first versus second. Us being first, Inter being seconds. I don't think this is going to go as well as the Paris Saint-Germain game. Oh, God. Okay. Let's take our medicine. What will be, will be. Let's go. In terms of injuries, we do have both Saliba and Enriquez back on the bench, as well as starting Lorenzo Luca as well. So we have got a number of options returning to the team as well. We've won 5 in 5. That's insane. That's insane. Considering 3 or 4 of those games has been with a 4-2-4, which again has never been a formation I've regularly used, especially above lower leagues. Like lower leagues, a 4-4-2 is a go-to, and sometimes I would go to a 4-2-4 instead. But it's weird to be using a 4-2-4 and it working. I mean, certainly for this season, I think getting the best out of Luca and Esposito. While we've got Esposito, we might as well use him. And it will get Luca settled into the club as well if we have both of them up front. It'll mean that we've got both of our best strikers up front at the same time. But as our midfield comes back, we'll probably switch back to either the 4-3-3 or maybe even a 4... Oh, goodness me. Tovar nearly putting it in the back of the net for into there. I'm toying with the idea of 4-2-3-1. I've got one trained up, ready to go. The biggest difference would be, obviously, one of the strikers would be dropping back. And I'm thinking that if we do go back to a 5 midfield system, or at least not 2 strikers up front, that's probably the system that we go with. The 4-3-3 was feeling, I don't know if stagnant is probably the wrong word for it, but it was feeling a little bit boring, a little bit obvious. I don't know whether Esposito's in here. Esposito hits the post, but it's offside, isn't it? Yeah, I was going to say, it looks to be offside to me. I think teams are used to how we play. So I think changing to a 4-2-3-1 would be a good idea. I think the 4-2-4 is good as well, but we've got so many midfielders that it makes it very, very difficult for us, I think, at times. It makes it difficult for me to look at this system and commit to it, purely because we are going to take Valeri off, by the way. Purely because we haven't built the squad with this system in mind. So it does make it a bit of a challenge. Opposite to that, the 4-3-3... the 4-2-3-1, that Mazzala position could easily be the attacking midfield position because from what I can think of, Rabo can definitely play there. Lorenzo Luca's just scored. Oh my word. We're doing a Leicester. Are we doing a Leicester? It feels like we're doing a Leicester. What a ball that is to Mihaila. Mihaila just gets it in. Luca's there. Doesn't have the most pace, but he has enough, and he gets it in the back of the net. He was having a poor game. It's one thing I've noticed about Luca so far. He's scoring a lot of goals. He doesn't get involved in a lot of play, at least not any play with much consequence. But when he gets involved, and he goes and scores some goals like on a regular basis. Tovan with the header, Dragowski with the save. But yeah, we've got players who can play in that attacking midfield position. Fagioli is an attacking midfielder by trade. Rabo is an attacking midfielder by trade. Enriquez can play as an attacking midfielder. 1 or 2 of our wingers can play there as well. So we have got options to play in that position for a 4-2-3-1 if we really need them. Luca's in again here, and Altai manages to save it and win. Win a corner. He won us a corner. I know that. So that 4-2-3-1 is becoming more of an enticing proposition, and the only thing is that defensive stability. But then, I mean, we keep the 4-3-3 in our back pocket just in case we think we need it. But at the moment, it kind of feels like, I mean, the 4-2-4 is working. There's no doubt about the fact that the 4-2-4 is working. Look at this game and the last game as examples of that. Luca's in again here. Lorenzo Luca could make it too. And, oh, he bottles it. He bottles it completely. Oh, what a chance. What a chance that is. Esposito's been a bit anonymous. I mean, he's playing against a club that pays his wages. I'm not overly surprised by that. Right, we are getting towards substitute o'clock. Let's have a look and see what we can do. Players are playing okay, actually. The only one who's having a poor game at the moment, well, Cambiasso and Dennis Mann are the two who are having not a decent game. Even at 6.6% too bad. Cambiasso, we're not going to do anything about. Dennis Mann, I might leave on for the moment. I'm actually looking at fitness. Monchu, annoyingly, is the one I'd like to take off, but I've got no interest in taking him off at the moment. Mihaila is tiring, but he is one of our better players at the moment, so I'm tempted to leave him on just for the time being. Rabo gets to Monchu. Monchu back to Rabo, looking for Mihaila. Mihaila is the one who lets us down there. And Tovar now gets the ball to Lautaro Martinez. It's probably going to be 1-1 here. And Lautaro Martinez does get it past Dragowski. It is 1-1. You could kind of see that coming with that move. And Dragowski just wasn't equal to the chance. That is probably fair on reflection of the play. I don't know what the match stats say. I'd imagine it's quite level. Actually, we've gone ahead on the match stats, which is kind of insane. We are going to go ahead with the change that we were talking about there. Tino's come on. I'm starting to regret that, actually, because Dennis Mann's not had a good game. But we are going to drop some encouragement to the boys, because we've had a very good performance today, and we deserve more than to lose the game. We certainly want to make sure we do not lose it. So on that basis, I think fitness, again, has to be our consideration here. And I think Cambiasso's had a shocker since coming on. We need to have a word with him. I think it has to be one of the two midfield lads. Is it Monchu or Rabo? And I'm looking, I'm thinking, I want to take Monchu off, but Rabo's tired as well. So it is going to be Benassa who comes on, and we're going to put him to the ball in midfielder role, put Monchu back to his favoured playmaking role, and that is all of the substitutions that we have to make. Benassa is apparently nervous, which is not ideal. Played for AS Roma. AS Roma? AS Monaco. Where did Roma come from? Stu, goodness me. Played for Monaco. He's played in some big games, surely. And he's nervous about this game. Goodness me. There's a transfer I'm definitely regretting. But we do come out of the game with a point against one of the best teams in the league. And that is a wonderful result. Considering we are shattered, considering we've just played Paris Saint-Germain in the Champions League, coming out of this game with that result is great. Slight concerns for me are Valeri and Cambiasso. Both of our left-backs having a shocking season so far. And we do need to have a word with both of them. Martin Rabo, however, did not look out of place in that game, which is very good to me. Lorenzo Luca, another goal. Again, he's a goal scorer. Beyond that, he isn't doing a lot at the moment. But as long as he scores the goals, I don't really care, if I'm being completely honest with you. But as I was talking about before, I'm thinking, long-term, maybe this is the formation. Obviously, Esposito probably doesn't go in the attacking midfield role. Having said that, full disclosure, I did not know Sebastiano Esposito could play as an attacking midfielder. Well, maybe this is an option then. If we have a look at players who can play here, Esposito, Monchu can play here, Fagioli as mentioned, Sarui can play there, Tino can play there, Enriquez can play there, Cataldi can play there, Sambia can play there. Rabo, as mentioned, can play there at a 2.5-star level. Maybe that's the future for this team. I'm not going to do it just yet, because at the moment, this is doing wonders for us, but definitely something worth thinking about. Right, when will we be back? So, I think we come back in the month of November, and I'm thinking Borussia Dortmund, and then Atlanta. I know there's a bit of a gap in between those games, but I think we come back for the second Borussia Dortmund game, come back for Atlanta, couple of big games. Atalanta, obviously, we were one of the teams we were fighting with last season for top 4. We beat them to top 4 last season, didn't we, in the end, if we have a quick nose at that? I'm pretty sure. No, they beat us, actually, in the end. So, but both of us got into top 4, but they beat us to 3rd place. So, I think let's do that. They're a bit of a rival of ours as a result of that. So, let's come back for those 2 games. I think that sounds like a good plan to me. But in the grand scheme of things, I think that has been a successful episode. Oh, one thing I want to quickly show you, finances. Remember how last season we were mostly in the red for the entire season? Making it rain. Making it rain. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well for more future awesome FM content. I've been Stubo. You guys have been awesome as always. Stay classy, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.